Hello, world. Just here hanging behind the scenes, waiting for my guests to arrive. Hope everybody's doing all good out there. Oh, yeah, Juanita Chica, Renee Miller. Trying to see if I can build the numbers out here. Celebrating life, so I decided to have a drink. Saludos. I want to see where people's located at. Let me see. Cuban Chica, where you located at? If you want to disclose that information. As we wait for the queen to arrive, because the queen always has to make an entrance. 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Yeah. Just waiting for everybody to jump in. Jammies, Gypsy. Yo, shout out to Gypsy, man. We were going to war in that other pages there. I love messing with those people, man, because they're so just fake, revolutionary folks out there, and I just love hitting them with facts. Once you're getting hit with insults, that means you're doing your job. Okay, say, oh, Renee, we're gonna talk about that. We're definitely gonna talk about that. Hola. Liz, sweetie, baby, you joined in from your busy schedule. Living your best life in Jersey. Yo, how's the weather in Jersey? Lizzie, what's going on, love? Oh, we got Cubans heavy out here. I like that. It rained all day. Yeah, well, that sucks. Thanks, 50. I heard it was like 70 last week out there in Jersey. I met somebody from Jersey. He told me it was like 70 degrees out there. I try not to. Well, here's the thing. You try not to argue with those people, but, if you go to that specific page, you know what to expect. That's like me hating racism and then me going to the Ku Klux Klan, Instagram page and saying how much of a racist they are. Let's see. All eyes on me. What up, Pac? It's this communist page called Belly of the Beast. It's like a full-blown communist group. They're from Cuba, but they network here in the States. And if you go there, be prepared to get your blood boil pumping up, because they're out here spreading lies, straight up lies. So I just go to troll them because they can't stand me right now. I got tagged, and I'm about to screenshot some of the stuff they said about me, which is classic. Oh, all eyes on me. Here's a quick thing on Pac. They re-released Strictly for My Niggas, and if you go to Spotify, there's like 4 bonus songs if you go to the page. Strictly for My Niggas. Oh, Cubans are here heavy. All the Cuban ladies are here heavy. Shout out to all the Cuban ladies here. Out here being anti-communist and all. Dami, baby, what's going on? Dami, you gotta hit me up with a plate one of these days. You out here just cooking like some marvelous stuff and posting pictures. I gotta have some of your Cuban food. Benji boy, what's popping, baby? Oh, by the way, that thing you sent me about the reggae festival, yeah, we out there. So let me know if you want to get the crew back together. We about to pull up on that. Take it back to the '05 era. And shout out to my Puerto Rican allies we got in the building. Shout out to all the Puerto Rican allies we got in the building here. I'm trying to be sophisticated. Sophisticated. What I'm drinking, something called oh, prosecco rosé. I'm getting classy. I'm getting classy, mommy. Prosecco rosé. Yeah. I'm trying to be fancy out here because I can't go back to the to the E&J years so we used to just act a fool and do something stupid like drinking and driving. I'm trying. I'm trying to get fancy out here. I even shave for the audience. I at least try to make a decent shave out here. I am going to be focused. You know what I mean? Unless I finish this bottle. But if I finish this bottle, I can't be focused no more. So I gotta focus. I gotta focus and not seem like I'm lotus. Hmm. Let's see. I think I got her. I, I think I think I got her.
You better stay focused while you're talking to me.
You know what? You're in no position to yell at me. That's number one, right? You're in no position, Queen.
Sorry. Let me call my own self out. Let me call my own self out in front of
You know
everybody.
what? I didn't even say anything. I didn't even say anything. I'm not gonna call yourself. I will just leave it at that. I'm not gonna put in the spot because we're a team here, Queen.
I
We're a team. You know,
love you. I love you.
I love
I
you
love you,
more.
bro.
I love you. But
You don't even understand how
potentially,
much
you
I
know,
love you.
I have to drink this bottle right now. But I have to
Oh
because
shit!
first
But I just drinking. Let me see. Let me just drink. Just
I
drink.
get crocas. Oh, hold on, let me turn it around for you too.
A rosé.
Yeah, I'm getting fancy. I'm getting fancy. I was gonna go with some ratchet.
We just had a bottle of rosé as
Oh,
well.
so you must be happy as hell right now. You are just happy. Who you?
Yes, we just had a bottle of rosé, and I'm super happy to. Well, two. Let me be honest. We had two, but it was two people. It was two people. So
I'm
that means
assuming you
it.
were a girl. That's what
I'm
I'm assuming you were a
now with
girl.
no damn girl. The fuck? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you're not with a girl? Okay. You're with an anonymous human being, and I won't put that person on the spot.
I'm with somebody's son. Somebody's son that invited me out to drink because so tonight I was supposed to be in Costa Rica, but it didn't happen. I'm gonna go live tomorrow to explain what happened with the whole Costa Rica trip. And I'm so glad that I have someone that decided to cheer me up and take me out to for dinner. And I'm glad that I'm here with you tonight. So let's talk.
Yeah, don't worry. I won't. Don't worry. I won't take too much of your time. Just like always, I just need. It's like a 30
No,
minute
no,
break.
no.
So put
Don't
it this
worry. I have time. No
It's like a
worries.
30
No worries.
minute break. So now here we fucking go. This is my first podcast live. So the ruckus is going live here, and my title is Black Cubans Against Communists.
Oh my God, I know they hate your guts in
What?
these pro socialist pages.
Oh, nigga, I'm gonna have a group now called N.A.C. Niggas Against Communists.
Oh, I
That
like
means
that.
niggas
I
against
like
communists.
that.
That means
We
that's
need
gonna be
to
the
make
new crew we're rocking with.
t-shirts. We need
Yeah,
to make t-shirts.
yeah. Let's get this thing going. Niggas against communists. That's it.
I love it. Oh my God. They be attacking me lately. For the past week, it's been harder, the attacks since the Plantada movies came out. the attacks had been more personal, trying to like, but they don't get it. Yo tengo un cuero duro. Like I have a really tough skin, very tough. You know what happened after July 11 with me and my what I said, my response to the Black Lives Matter statement, kind of was the preparation for what's going on right now. So it doesn't scare me.
All right, so let's rewind that back because after this, I'm taking it to the TikTok streets. I'm taking
Let's
it to the TikTok streets.
go.
And like the black TikTok's been asking you like crazy. And last month we tried to do something, but the Chinese people went after me and banned that shit off. So we back again. Instagram is more lenient. So we're gonna take this
Yeah.
bitch, pop it and paste it, and take it to black TikTok to see what's going on because
Okay.
the world's been asking for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruckus Podcast, we're going live. I got my sister here, Grace, in the building. If you don't know who the hell she is, she's just been that Cuban lady that just have more cojones than your average motherfucker. Oh, by the way, I'm a cook like no tomorrow here because I'm drinking, I'm full of life, I'm happy. Technology's been kicking my ass for the last 2 weeks. I came back and now I'm kicking technology's ass right now. So no laptop, no one of me right now. So I posted a video here in the month of February, and it was the infamous video that got you viral.
Yeah.
After that video went viral on my page, if you go on, we're right now at 180,000 views, over 10,000 reposts. That's where we at right
Wow.
now on my page. So now
Wow.
I got people asking for you. I have to say something, and I hope the person that you're with, that person's mother, son, whatever on the side.
Don't
People
worry.
think that,
Don't worry. He's secure
all right, so
himself.
this is a sidebar. This is a sidebar. This is a part that gets very, very disturbing on my end. I have people thinking that it's you. So now they shoot and they shot. You know how many phone numbers I've gotten from men? And
Oh
how many phone numbers?
my God. Are you serious?
Yo, I have like at least 50 phone numbers.
Okay,
Incoming.
wait. Stop it right there. So they think my video that you reposted, it's actually they think your page is actually me,
Yeah.
and they've been sending numbers to your private messages.
You don't even know the shit game. Like, oh, my queen, if you were like in the United States, I would have freed you from anything. I wish I could go to Cuba and rescue you. Here's my phone number. If you get internet, please give me a call. Like, it's been ridiculous. I have to delete a good portion of them because I was just bothered. I'm like, yo, nigga, do you see like the face here? Like, it's a full-blown man with a Cuban shirt, and I fucking got a gold teeth. they just like disregarded my face and saw your video.
That's ridiculous. Anyway, big up to them brothers. Big up to them brothers. We need that same energy to liberate everybody in Cuba. So we need to keep them around.
Yeah,
But
that's so that's what happened. That's why when you sent me the video this tonight with the TikTok, the video you sent me, the little seductive thing about.
Yes.
Okay, so prior to that, I posted another video. So I'm like, gee, I think I over sexualized her in this video because I put like a compilation of your videos, and this is one you have.
It. No, I want you to repost it because the end of the day is I know my weapons of I know it. I know them. I embrace them. And I know, I call people's attention because of the way I look, blah, 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 my body shape, blah, blah, blah. So I want to use what I have to get what I want. And what I want is freedom for my Cuban people. So, if that's what called their attention, I'm going to call their attention, but I'm still going to deliver a message. It's bigger than just me calling attention. I'm not thirst trapping. That's not what I'm doing. I'm using what I have and weaponizing. That's the word. I'm weaponizing what I have and what I know that calls attention to bring about a bigger message.
Yeah, so so you post that video, then there's another video that I posted up is you like dancing to the fucking
the little
Austin
black
Powers.
short video. That black short video got me in trouble.
What was that?
That black short video got me in trouble in my page and my Instagram.
All right, well, that's the one I use. So let's see what happens if I put that. Right now we have 700 views. You know what I'm saying? You got little families that worked out there.
I love that thing. Yeah.
So, I have some people, saluting it.
Look at you. You look so fancy with your damn cup.
It's
all grown and shit.
It's the goatee. It's the goatee that's working. You know what I mean? People told me to keep the facial hair. So if this activist thing doesn't work for me, I'm going to like sex symbol wise.
You gotta keep the facial hair. You gotta keep the facial hair because it gives you that nice personality. I know the girls be all over you. You think I'm pimping.
I don't know
I'm pimping.
what you're talking about. I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right, Michael, right. Uh-huh.
I'm just a
Let's
regular
get
human
back to
being.
activism. Let's get back to activism.
Get back to activism. Okay, all right, bet.
Talk
So,
to me.
okay, one of the things a lot of people from again, I have to send this back to TikTok world. So one of the things is like they think that like we, the Cuban community, we're like at war with black people, or we're like, I mean, we're at war with Black Lives Matter. But I want people to like, to just like recognize that our war is not with Black America or the Black community, because that's one of the things
Not
that I've
at
been getting
all.
also.
Not at all. We're trying to warn them.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to warn them. Okay, the thing is, a lot, what I found in my journey of activism and stuff like that is like, the black people in this country try to be, very pro right?
Hmm.
Oh, I mean left,
Yeah.
very pro left. So just because I'm not saying that the right is perfect. That's the thing. They always say, oh, but the right, but capitalism, but imperialism. And it's like, whoa, 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 wait. I never said that was the answer, but I'm just telling you that the left in communism and socialism is not the answer either. Maybe we need to sit down as a community, as the black diaspora all over the world, and figure out a brand new system
Hmm.
that has nothing to do with the left or the right. We just call it celestial. I don't know. But, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. So they think, and my thing, one of my things when it comes to the community is like, I'm not the enemy. I'm not the enemy. I'm just a messenger. I am not the enemy. I'm
Yeah.
the messenger. Because a lot of the black people in this country that are pro-left, they don't have no experience of what it is to be born and raised on a leftist system. They they
Extreme
they can
at that.
defend the
Extreme left.
left. Extreme, very extreme left. So they can defend the left, believing in the right, and living out of EBT and food stamps, and
Yeah.
having a salary with right money.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody had packed their shit and go to Cuba and live in Cuba like the Cuban people live. So
Yeah.
it's very easy to defend socialism and communism, drinking a fucking Starbucks and buying food from Price Right with food stamps card.
Yeah. 100%.
So people
100%.
don't like me because I tend to be very passionate about it. People don't like me because I tend to be very, very, very truthful about it. And I'm really, it's like, oh, what side are you taking? I'm not taking no sides. I'm taking the side of freedom from my Cuban people, freedom from communism, and freedom from dictatorship. That's the side I'm taking,
Yes.
you know?
One of the
So,
things with Black humans, we're in a very interesting spot because living in this country, the one thing that, our boogeyman is racism, white supremacy,
mm-hmm.
and, and capitalism, America.
Yeah,
But we deal with that part, but then we deal the other side they don't know, which is racism under communists and
yes,
dictatorship and all
yes,
this other
and
stuff that
yes.
they're not too privy about because they never lived it, they never experienced it. So we
Mm-hmm.
gotta like we're in a very interesting spot. And not only that, there was something you brought up in my podcast when we first did our podcast that Black Cubans we're at war with two people, the oppositions and the racism that we have to deal with in the
Yes,
opposition side. Because
yes.
even
So,
though yes,
yes,
because even
yes,
though we got white Cubans that have the same hatred towards communists that we do, we also remember this. They're like they're also racism. So it's
yes.
like in a way it's like we in a way we have to learn how to use each other. And it's like that saying, the enemy is my enemy is my friend. So let's be
Mm-hmm.
friends for these couple of minutes, and then after we get this business done, whatever we could get back to hating me. You could be mad because I'm fucking your white daughter, whatever the case may be. We
what
get
I
back to the
tell
regular
what
thing.
I tell a lot of the the people from the opposition, that's more like white passing, because the reality is I don't believe there is any full-blooded white Cuban, but whatever, they white passing. So what I tell the white passing Cubans is we're gonna fight it amongst each other later.
Yeah,
Let's worry about the liberation of Cuba and the Cuban people first,
yeah,
and then we're gonna go ahead and fight about if you don't want your kids to be mixed and whatever the fuck else you want to fight about.
yeah,
Right now, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than me. It's a whole people that's being oppressed. White, black, Chinese, mulatto, it doesn't matter. We all oppressed, we all hungry. So that's what it is about right now. Then we worry about the rest. But unfortunately, when it comes to this country, everything is color and everything is turning to a color issue. So we have to bring up the color and we have to weaponize the color as well.
Yeah.
So, we just do what we do because that's what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, there was a story that you told that I want you to tell my audience that something happened to you when you were in DC. Because again, one of the things that the communist system, they kind of shut us out. They kept us quiet. We were just like the unheard, to a point that we always joked, not even joked, we talked about how it's 2023 and people still don't know that there's black Cubans in Cuba, even though we're the majority. People still don't know that.
Fidel
There was
did a great job
something,
hiding us under the rug.
yeah,
He did an amazing
yeah,
job hiding us, that we wasn't there, that we
yes.
wasn't part of that.
Yeah, so they kept us quiet. Something happened. I want you to tell my audience about the story when you went to DC and on 2021, and they thought that you were an actual like black American, and you actually had everybody like kind of felt like incognito. Ah, darn it!
I know. So I got to.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Can't hear you. No, I'm losing you. I'm losing
You're
you.
losing
I'm losing
me.
you.
Please don't lose me. Don't lose me now. Um. Wait. Don't lose me now. Can you hear me?
Now I can. Okay, we back. We back.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Perfect. Perfect. You good? Let's go.
Okay. Okay. Let me know because I think I'm already connected to this Wi-Fi. Right. That's why it was just connecting. That's why it did the lag. Sorry. Yeah. No, it's okay. Thank you. Inside. You stay in the car. Okay. All right. Or you can go inside and just sit in the dining room. I'm on the phone myself. Okay. I'll be in the dining room. Yeah. I'm sorry. We're trying to figure out where we're going to accommodate. You have to open the door for me, though. You have the key. I don't have the key.
I'm mad. I
Okay.
have to edit this shit for my podcast. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm going in to the dining room. I'll be more comfortable. Oh, all right. Yeah. I'll be more comfortable there. Sorry. Just trying to accommodate my damn self.
Yeah, somebody's son. I'm drinking. Who gives a fuck here? We out here. We out here. Okay. Okay.
Listen, this somebody's son had made me very happy for the past 11 months. So, okay, let me get myself situated.
Look at you getting dick and attention. I love it.
Yeah. You're
I love
so
it.
rude.
Oh, you hear me?
You're so rude, Michael. You say I'm getting dick and attention.
Whoa, no, whoa. You didn't hear that. I said love and attention. I said love and
Love
attention,
and
you fool.
attention.
Love and attention. Jesus Christ. That's supposed to hear
So
me?
rude.
I have to look at it all.
Okay, let me sit over here so we can talk a little bit. So, okay, great. Because these heels is not letting me be great.
Are you rocking the heels?
You know me by now. You should know me by now.
Right there.
So I go to DC because remember they had the big, oh my God, hi, Creamy. So you have like the big protest that was supposed to happen after July 11. My video had went viral already. I was all over the place, like it was whatever. So I'm like, okay, I gotta be there. You know what's crazy? I knew nothing about that convocatory for that protest. I told my friend, because remember, I had disconnected myself completely from the Cuban community. So I had no idea what was going on. I'm like, I'm going to the Cuban embassy. I'm going in front of the Cuban embassy by myself with my I order Amazon Prime, got it in 2 days, my big megaphone, black megaphone, and I have my Cuban flag, and I'm like, I'm going and I'm going to talk and I'm going to say, where are my brothers and sisters and my political prisoners, brothers and sisters, right? So I was extremely upset and mad and I'm like, what's going on, right? So I go to DC. I drove there 8 hours. So I go to DC. I stay at I drove. Yes. Yes.
Super.
I drove. I stayed there at my friend's house. And I literally it was funny because I'm like, okay, I saw some Cubans there, right? So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not the only one. Great minds think alike, so whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I'm over there. I'm by myself in front of the Cuban embassy with the with the megaphone,
The
and I'm
megaphone.
yelling
Yeah.
and screaming. And that's the famous picture which I have to send to you that I have where I put my Cuban flag on my backpack, and my Cuban flag is covering my backpack, so it looked like it was all down my back with the megaphone. That's the famous picture.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm there protesting by myself with two friends. One of the ones that took the picture, and the other one was holding the water for us or whatever. So it was three of us, and I'm there protesting and whatever. Then, while I was there, someone tells me about the Cubans that were by the White House. They're like, there's actually Cubans by the White House.
Okay.
There is something going on down there. I'm like, shit, I'm going. So I tell my friends, let's drive down to the White House. Let's go. So we went, and I saw the big, oh my God, that was the first time in a long time that I saw so many Cubans together fighting for the same thing. And it literally, it like, oh my God, I was crying. I couldn't stop crying. I was crying. I was emotional. I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I go there, and everybody's yelling and screaming, and everybody had megaphones. So I wasn't the only one, and I felt so identified. And then next thing you know, I keep seeing the American people walking by and not stopping. So that's when I
Mhm.
realized, I'm like, okay, we Cubans, and we denouncing and exposing this situation in Cuba, but we exposing it in Spanish,
Mhm.
meaning we're talking to the same little group still. So I was
Mhm.
like, okay. So I grabbed my megaphone and I start speaking in English to the English speaking people that kept walking by and
Mhm.
not stopping. So now the English speaking people started stopping, and they asking me what's going on. And I'm talking. But what happened is the same Cubans didn't know what I was saying because of the language barrier. And they thought that I was doing una contra protesta. They
Yeah.
thought I was actually speaking against what they were speaking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I heard a few people say, ¿Quién es esta? ¿Quién es esta? Like, who's she? Who the
Yeah.
fuck is she?
Right.
Right? ¿Quién es esta? ¿Quién es esta que está diciendo? Right? So then I pointed out to someone, I'm like, no, I'm speaking in favor of what's going on here. So
Yeah.
the guy that was standing in the front with the microphone, he's like, oh, we have an American ally. We have an American ally. We have an American ally. Come, she's going to say some words. And when I get to the microphone, I go, cough in Cuban,
Mhm.
right? I'm like,
Confident.
déjenme decirle que y me salió el cubaneado más cubaneado de los pinos, que yo soy de los pinos, yo soy repartera.
Candela.
El repartero más
Candela.
repartero de todo el reparto fue lo que salió, right? And I started, that wasn't even Spanish, that was Cuban slang what I was speaking, and they were like,
Yes.
oh my God, she's Cuban. So then that's when I realized the black Cubans that was kind of hiding and in the little corners, they all came to the front because they
Mm.
felt identified.
Yeah. Yes.
They felt
Yes.
identified. I
Yes.
haven't
Um.
seen a black Cuban yet in that damn manifestation until I spoke. And when I spoke, everybody started coming from the woodworks, like to the front. And it was a sad moment to me because I was like, really? Like, what the fuck? You could have been doing what I was doing too. That
Yeah. I mean.
self-segregation is that imposed self-segregation in the black community in Cuba, that the black community in this country should know. I understand that we can be empathic to you and your struggle because we go through the same shit in our
Yes.
community. They don't get it. They don't get it. I don't get it either.
And it's crazy because I was there during that week, and I went with my mom, and I remember we went there on a Saturday, but we were there for like 5 days. But I remember it was a Sunday, and that one Sunday I was there, my mom was like, me and her were having a conversation like, yo, where are the black Cubans and she was just getting, he like, this should have pissed me off. All we like to do is party and fuck and go to Cuba just to show that we got money. And this is some bullshit. And, you know, what's going on here? But then we looked around. It was like so many. It was like Black Sunday. Put it to that. It was like Black Sunday at a church. Like they showed out. They showed up. And that's when I met the, I can mess with this dude named the comedian, Bocon Quiñoño.
Bocon Quiñoño, yes, Bocon Quiñoño, yeah.
I met him. I met his wife. My mom and his wife started kicking it the whole time. I met his twin kids, like lovely family. So we started, you know, just having conversation, stuff like that. But what hit me, I was meeting a lot of elderly people, you know, from my grandfather's era. And it was just so beautiful that they came here. They came from wherever they came from. They spent that plane ticket. They took that day off work. They called out. They're like, no, I have to do this. I have to do it, and I have to tell the story. And I was having conversation with these elderlies, and I'm like, yo, what happened, you know, with the Black Cubans that, you know, I know we feel it like they feel it, so why we ain't speaking out? And, you know, that's when I was getting different stories, but they all said the same thing. It was like this indoctrination that the country gave them. Like if you leave the island, you're worthless. Like we're the only one going to help you.
There is a lot of indoctrination, and so what we did is we assimilated American Black culture and we blended in, right? And we kind of like became a hermit from our own Cuban culture, because it's like we don't know what we don't know. I guess we have to pick. That was our thinking. I guess we have to pick a side when we don't have to. We can still honor our Cuban roots and still be empathic of the Black struggle in this country. We can still let our Black brothers and sisters in this country know, hey, communism is not the answer. They've been lying to you through propaganda this whole time. So that's why I say what I say, that a lot of Black Cubans get mad about, and I don't give a fuck. I would say right now, I don't care, because a lot of the white Cubans, they get mad about when anytime I say that our fight, sometimes it feels like it's a fight on its own, because we have to fight against the communists, but we also have to fight against the racist opposition, the anti-communists that are still racist. So it feels like we are in our battlefield on our own, and it's the truth, and I'm gonna stand by it.
Lonely battle. And then we have to, like, you know, got to sleep with one eye open, because even though you're our white counterpart, you're like, okay, are you trying to be my friend, or are you getting used here? Are we going to have some kind of camaraderie here to have this oppression done and build a friendship out of this, or we're going to be used? Because also, you know, when I did the professor's episode, he broke down a lot of gems that I didn't even know what happened in Cuba. You know what I mean? After we helped liberate Spain, we were like the biggest allies, and then afterwards, we got nothing from it in the end. They just segregated us and left it even poor. And we have to fight even harder to even get like a dime.
They did the whole, listen, 1902, they did the, you know, the Independent Black Party, the Cuban Independent Black Party massacre, because we were getting way too strong. We were getting way too strong. And reality is that white Cubans did not want a Black government. And that's one of the reasons why we got cursed with Fidel. Because Batista, which I'm not saying was better, but Batista was a mulatto. And they did not want a mulatto as a president. So even though, because of colorism, they wanted a lighter or whiter president, they voted and they helped Fidel to get power. And then Fidel fucked them in the ass with a cactus and no Vaseline and brought up communism. And here we are 64 years later. Here we are 64 years later. Okay, if they would allow, first of all, since 1902, if they had allowed the Black Independent Party to take over and guide the country with the idealism that they had, Cuba would not be in the position that it is right now. We would have been really, to be honest with you, we would have been the first revolution before Haiti, but they did the massacre to the Black Independent Party in Cuba. We, the Cubans, the Black Cubans, would have been the first revolution, not the Haitians.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's the truth. You heard that Black TikTok? You heard that? So
you know, they did the massacre, and Jose Marti's son was actually part of the massacre too. Not Jose Marti, he was not with it, but his son.
Oh, so some of the little racist bastards.
This is always the sons being a fucking bastard. Just like the Moors, just like the sons of the Moors dethroned the Moors. We will be in charge of Europe. We had Europe for 700 years, the Moors. Yeah. But then the sons, right? They like, I'm tired of my father's abuse. to my
Yeah,
mother. So I
and
have to dethrone my father. It's
and
history that is not taught to us. The history of the Moors, that we was already here doing commerce, that Columbus is a stupid. Columbus is little. He didn't discover shit. We was already coming here, establishing commerce and doing all kinds of stuff. It's a whole lot of things that they don't teach you in school because they want to continue that speech of and that little propaganda of victimization. It's good to keep black people as victims. If you understand how powerful you really are and the economic power that you hold, even though you're called a minority, you will not, trust me, you will not be crying the way you are because you trust me, you run this fucking country. Your dollar run this country. You just don't know it.
and one of the things, and I wanna address this to like the people again. Us as Cubans, we have to deal with two types of ignorance: the people that really don't know, and we have to school them, and the ignorance that really don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they want to speak to our behalf, which has been my war in Massachusetts. Um, can you please tell my audience that, black Cubans were actually prospering during the Batista era? Because they think that we were all like slaves and we would just had nothing, like we didn't own farms or gas stations or even like, meat shop, that they under this illusion that we literally had nothing
No, no, no,
and Fidel came
no,
and
no,
saved them.
that's a lie.
So,
That's a lie. That's a lie. Black Cubans were professionals. They were just upper middle class, like my grandfather on my grandfather on my dad's side. He was just a baker. He was what we call a panadero, right? So he used to bake bread and stuff like that. And he was able to feed 6 kids just by breaking bread. He didn't have to have 2, 3 jobs. He only had that one job at the bakery, and he took care of everybody else. Now, on my mom's side, my great grandfather, my grandfather's dad, he was actually a little wealthier. He had 17 properties and over 60 acres of land. When Fidel took power, Fidel took everything from him, leaving him almost homeless. So we were already on the path to generational wealth and breaking the generational curse of poverty. We were already there until Fidel took power and took everything away from him. So I don't have shit to thank the revolution for. Okay? That's the reality. Not all black people in Cuba were poor or arrastrado, piso de tierra, and toda esa mierda that they try to tell you that every fucking black people was poor and just, and Fidel came and did whatever the best from us. No, black people was going to school. There was black professionals, right? There was black, there was black entrepreneurs, there was black business owners, and all of that was already in place. Okay, Fidel didn't really do nothing but take away our weapons. That's the first thing they did. That's why we don't have how to defend ourselves now. Because the people of the people about gun reform, do you really think you're sure what you're doing here?
Yeah.
Think about it again. Because the first thing Fidel did was take the weapons against from us, because that way we'd have no way to defend ourselves. That was the first thing. Second thing he did is he started creating this picture, which actually in those times, the owner of the Bohemia, which was the biggest magazine in Cuba, he helped to create that illusion or that propaganda. And then the New York Times in New York also helped to create that propaganda that the revolution was the answer, that the revolution was going to bring equality for the black people and all this stuff. After 5 years, not even 5 years in to the revolution, the owner of the Bohemia magazine committed suicide because he
Wow.
realized the lies, and he realized his role into implementing that lie. And it was so heavy in his conscience that he committed suicide.
Wow.
That's part of the story they don't tell you.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. This is the dope thing about me jumping this, because now I'm claiming I'm a fucking activist. I'm with the shits, and I'm willing to ride my people. Every day I learn something new about this island that my parents came from, whether it's from the professor, whether it's from yourself, or even when my mom wants to like drop gems like every once in a while about this happened, you didn't know about this happened. So it's just like a beautiful thing now that I'm learning something new every day.
Yeah.
Because me being born in the States, I already know America's history. It's been repeated to me 100,000 times, so I already know it. But this right here is like a brand new episode, so I'm loving the gems you're dropping over here. Um,
I love,
what?
let me just make a pause real quick and tell you thank you, because even though you were born here, and you really have to be honest with you, you don't have no political or moral obligation to do shit from Cuba because you were not born there. You still take aside from your time, your precious time, and your effort and your youth. Okay, that's all you got. Because when you
Yeah,
get old, you'll be,
you're done with.
you take
Yeah,
away from all of that to spread the truth and to do what you do, the activism that you do. So I want to thank you for that.
and thank you, sis, and I want to thank you because just off the fact I saw you from the viral video, and like I swear, like the ancestors be working is magic. Because I didn't think in the next year like we're able to. We family by now. We got a family right now. You got an aunt downstairs. You got an aunt downstairs that protects you at every cost. You know, they come after you on the gram. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
Yes.
you got right here. I'm going to be the shooter out here. So anytime somebody even dares to come around you, I'm guns blazing here online. So it's like, don't even try, my sis. Don't even try it. So I'm glad we're able to
You
build
know,
this out here. And outside of this, revolution activist thing that we do like talk about regular things in life, like relationship and men, the things you'll be doing in your podcast that I want to get into in a few minutes. Yes. I want to
the
talk about
wicked,
all that
the
stuff.
wicked
Yes.
side, the wicked
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. Okay, one of the things, you know what I mean, 'cause I'm gonna wrap this up because I know you got a lot going on right now. So,
It's okay.
okay,
I got time.
yeah. One of the things that, living in Massachusetts, it's been very difficult to explain, but having a fellow Cuban, you could probably explain to the audience. One of the things that they like to praise in Cuba is the education and the healthcare. Um, I found out a while ago that, they have this perception that Cuba had like the lowest education, and Cuba came, and Castro went and saved us and became a 99% literacy, which fucking baggles me, because where in the world you have a human being that's 99% in something? Don't know, but he played that shit and people believe it.
No, no,
Um,
no, that was all propaganda. That was all propaganda. In Cuba, there was, like regular schools. There was also private schools, of course, like here, right?
mhm,
But people that wasn't able to afford regular schools, they can still go to private schools. There were just people that rather, like here too. There is people that are like, you know what? I'm gonna skip high school. I'm just gonna get a job. Same thing happened in Cuba. I'm just gonna get a job. The problem was with a lot of the rural people or the people from the country, they rather work the land than actually go to school.
mhm,
So, and that's normal, but that was their choice. It's not because they didn't have a school to go to. It's that was their choice that, oh, you know what? I don't want to go to school. I want to work the land. So the thing is, Fidel created this big propaganda of alfabetización, right? La campaña de alfabetización, or the alphabetization campaign.
mhm.
My grandmother on my mom's side, she was part of it. She actually went to La Sierra Maestra to teach people how to read. But the reality, what was what was happening there is two things. They was taking the weapons against from the country people, right?
Mhm.
And they were taking the silver and gold away from them too. So they were stripping them from the little bit that they had left in the name of, we are just educating you, and we're going to protect you from now on. And we don't need to, you don't need these guns because we got you. We're
Yeah.
going to protect you, right? So what they did was that. So that was the whole campaign was actually that was silver and gold, taking away silver and gold and weapons from the Cuban people. That was
Mhm.
actually what the campaign was about. Um, so my grandmother was part of that. That was all a lie. That was all an invention. That was all, like I say, a goddamn lie, right? The Cuban people before the revolution, listen, we were able to celebrate Christmas, and Batista's wife, the first lady, she used to have big ball parties in the black neighborhoods and bring gifts to the people, in those neighborhoods. My grandmother, I remember, the good thing I did the last time I went to Cuba was record my grandmother and her stories,
Mhm.
and that's going to be part of my documentary whenever my documentary comes out. And I recorded my grandmother telling the story how she used to be part of the biggest black-owned ball um, um, club. and they used to dance, they ball dance, and they used to have like this high class, and reality is majority of blacks in Cuba, they decided to segregate themselves after segregation was not a thing anymore. They decided to stay segregated. That was their choice. Because remember, slavery and segregation was abolished in Cuba way before that here in America. Way before.
I didn't know that.
Way before.
All right. Because that's another thing.
No, we didn't have to be in the back of the bus like here.
Okay.
We didn't have to do none of the stuff that these people went through. And I honor what these people went through here. I really honor it. But reality is, in Cuba, we did not have the same struggle. We didn't. So sometimes that's the problem that we have with Black Americans when they say that we're not empathic to the struggle. Because we didn't go through the same.
Yeah. Okay.
We did not. We self-segregated. We decided to self-segregate, some of us, especially in the Marianao nightclub. We have the All-Star Jazz Club that was all black.
Yeah.
Right? But they were able to go in and play in white clubs, and they got paid accordingly. But we decided to be like, oh, this is the jazz club, the black jazz club. We did a lot of self-segregation. That's the truth. We did a lot of self-segregation.
So during that time, the elite black Cubans, because this is new to me, the elite black Cubans, it was one of those things, they had enough resources to be like, we don't need to be involved with white Cubans because we have our own.
Exactly.
And
we didn't need to integrate. We didn't need to integrate with the white Cubans because we had the same. My grandfather had cars, he had properties. I told you he didn't need to integrate at all.
And you know what's crazy? That is so crazy because with America, it was the complete opposite. Because there was a point where black people had their own resources. Black Wall Street.
We're talking about Tulsa. Yes.
There's other Black Wall Streets. And, they had they were making money off their own baseball league. They had all this stuff, and they went backwards. They're like, no, let's integrate with these white people because I guess it will be cooler. So and they went.
We wasn't for. Reality is, there was never a real segregation, to be honest with you. There was never a real segregation from the black and white Cubans at all. I'm sorry, I'm about to get fresh. So we just wasn't interested because we had the same opportunities, Black Cubans had their own spaces, their own things, there was black doctors that had their own clinics and stuff like that. And, and we didn't have, we were fine. Yeah. White Cubans can come to our neighborhoods. We can go to the white neighborhoods too. Of course, there was always colorism. Of course, there was always prejudice. There was always white families that used to tell their girls, don't marry a black guy. That's been everywhere in the world. Come on. But real segregation, we never had that.
See, I didn't know that. And the perception, because what they saw here in America, again, which I always know was bullshit, but I'll tell the audience, they made it look like, Fidel took over, he saved black folks, and then he cured. I remember him saying on record,
he didn't save nobody. He didn't save nobody.
I'm going with the perception. He was saying on record that racism doesn't exist in Cuba because the revolution saved over that, so everybody here gets a free shot, which was bullshit. We all know it was bullshit, but that's what they were selling outside of the world. So we got people that's in love with communism and socialism, think we should be like that.
Look, same thing that this person is saying here, and thank you for bringing that up. Tati Montes, the way Tati Montes is saying, if Batista was such a bad guy, why was he democratically elected twice as a mulatto man? Mulatto. We're talking about a black guy. Everybody's what's his name? Obama was the first black president of the Americas. Lies. Batista was their first. Batista was a mulatto, just like Obama. Black daddy, white mama, and he got elected twice. Then he just got a little greedy and did some changes to the Constitution. Yeah. But reality is, it wasn't this monster, tale that they tell you about Batista, and then this hero tale that they tell you about Fidel. It's all made up. A lot of the shit is made up.
They were both maniacs, but Batista, he was like a rational maniac. He was a rational maniac. He's like, look, I'll let you guys get money. Just don't come across me or I'll kill you. This guy was like, you can't get no money or nothing or I'll kill you and your family. And that was, I
You
remember
know?
somebody said that. I forgot the newscaster's name. She was Cuban. She she said that she was this Cuban lady. I forgot her name. She used to work for CNN, and she had family that lived through both eras, the Castro and the regime. And they said they both had extreme dictatorship habits. But the difference between Batista, you're like, you only make your life a living hell if you disrespect, the government or in this
He
movement.
was,
With
yes,
Castro,
he was a little extremist in some
yeah,
things.
and
I'm
then
not
with
gonna put
Castro,
Batista. I am not gonna make Batista look like he was this hero and this beautiful, amazing
no, of course not,
character, right?
of course not.
He was a guy to be feared.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna, because even with the US, he has some beef. Like he had beef with both sides. The man was
yeah,
standing on his own, like, what's up? What y'all gonna do?
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Even with the US mafia, they were trying to build certain casinos and certain things, and he was like, no, you
yeah,
ain't building. What's
yeah.
up?
So yeah, so
Right?
that was the difference. He like his thing was like, I'll make your life a living hell and kill you. With Castro is like, no, I'll kill you and your whole family, and nobody will live if you even try me and disrespect my extremist nonsense. So it was like he was on a level 10. With Castro, he went on a level 10 and multiplied by 5 and put it on steroids, because to Batista's perspective, he at least had a 12-year run, like a 12-year
The
run.
thing is, yes,
Castro,
Castro,
shit
the thing is,
after his death
Castro
is still
went,
continuing.
and Castro was supposed to be Batista's godson. He was Batista's godson,
Yeah, there was something
right?
that happened when he was supposed to kill him, and then he was like, "Nah, I'll let him live," which was the biggest mistake he could ever do, because we saw the
You
results of
know,
that.
so he was Batista's godson. So that played a role. And the next thing is Castro lied. The thing is, these 64 years of torture that the Cuban people had lived through is based on a big lie. Because Castro say, I'm bringing back democracy. You will be able to vote every 4 years. You will be great and amazing, and everything is good and amazing, and everything is great. So
Mhm.
a lot of the Cuban, the big high, the biggest part of society in Cuba, they actually funded with their own wealth that revolution, right? And the university students, they had a big part in it, which is where most of the plantados come from.
Yeah,
Because the university students, they, as soon as Castro took power, they saw the shift, and they're like, this is not what we fought for. So the same system, the same system that they helped to take power is the same system that betrayed them and put them in jail, and that's how they became plantados.
and by the time they figure out what he did, it was already too late because he took power.
You know, some of them had some of them was given 24 hours to leave the country. They had to leave everything behind, and then all those properties, all those houses was taken by the government. You know, he killed private property. He nationalized everything, meaning he killed private property. You were not able to own a business. That's when my grandfather's bakery business went down the drain, because he
Mhm.
couldn't own his bakery anymore, right? It became a government bakery, and literally he died from heartbreak. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say how it is.
yeah,
My
and
grandfather
uh,
died from heartbreak.
uh, another thing I want you to talk about, one of the things they also praise in Massachusetts is the healthcare, because it's free and everybody gets the same treatment. Can you please tell my Massachusetts audience what the real healthcare looked like in Cuba?
In Cuba, there is two healthcare systems. There is the healthcare system that the people receive, and there is the healthcare system that the tourists receive. The tourists and the people that leave, that go from Canada, from the US, from Europe to get medical treatment in Cuba, they do not get the same treatment that the Cuban people receives, right? Cuba receives over $30 million altogether when it comes to the missions, right? So Cuba graduates Cuban doctors like it's freaking express microwave, whatever, rah, 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 but it's not to put them at service of the Cuban people. They graduate those doctors, them to be exported to Latin America, create this beautiful picture about how good and amazing Cuba is, right? That's the first. And second, Cuban government gets paid to from those doctors that go to Latin America, Haiti, all of those places, but the doctors itself do not see any of that money, right? So the doctors believe that they are in a humanitarian mission while the Cuban government is actually getting paid. And I go there to say that money that the Cuban government is getting paid is not being used to develop the infrastructure of the hospitals, the roads, and the schools. We don't know what the fuck that money's going. But rumor
I guess
has
it is.
it, rumor has it that Fidel had $900 million in European banks.
Allegedly, that's the word on the streets.
Allegedly,
That's the word.
allegedly. The street
The
talk,
streets
but
are talking.
whatever, right? So that modern day human trafficking that the Cuban doctors have going on, right? Well, not them, the Cuban government with the Cuban doctors. That's why we have that little fame of being a medical potency. Cuba's not no fucking medical potency. I would rather pay for a private hospital than go to a free Cuban hospital. My mom actually died in one of those last year for something that I'm pretty sure if she would have been in this country, she would still be alive because it was completely curable. Right? There is no medicine. There is no medical instrumentals like syringes and that type of stuff. But it's
Clean
not
gloves.
because of the blockade. Because people is like, oh my God, the blockade. If you read the blockade papers and you read through all of them with care, you will realize that there is no blockade on medical supplies or food.
And
There is
I'm
blockade
glad.
to any other type of private business, but not for medical supply or food. Cuba, the government of Cuba is the ones that decide consciously not to invest the money that they make into buying medical supplies. It's a choice. Yet, every single year, there is resorts and hotels being built in an island that has 11 million people starving.
11 people. Jesus Christ. The mic just keep dropping left and right, homie. It's just dropping left and right. I'm loving everything about this. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to mention the blockade, but you pretty much broke it down for me. You know, the blockade doesn't stop medicine. It does not
No,
stop food. And even
no.
before that, the reason why they have the blockade is because they not only they nationalized the situation, they took everybody's property, especially America's property, and they enriched themselves towards that. And you know that was the response to that.
You
And even to
know
even
what's the
lift
crazy thing? You know what's the crazy thing? The blockade says it nice and clear. The day that you do not violate human rights of the people of the Cuban people and that you liberate the political prisoners, we will drop it.
yeah, well, three things: the political prisoners, a real actual like democracy vote, and freedom of the press. Those are the three things that they're asking
Exactly.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
freedom of the
So
press.
people
Yep.
call it the Helms Act. You know, I mean, we should call it Helms Act, but it, AKA the Libertad Act for people
Mhm.
that's not in the know. So
Yes.
yes. Now I want you to tell the story of because you went viral, but when you went viral, you know, unfortunately you lost your mom to medical negligence. You had to go back. Can you tell everybody the exciting episode you had to go through when you went to Cuba? For the people that not in the
So
know, they think you could
the
just
only
spread.
reason, the
Hold
only
on.
reason,
Wait, hold on. I gotta set that. I gotta do the setup. You know, because they think after you speak against, you know, a government in Cuba, you could just roam freely in the streets, thinking it's all safe out here. So
no,
please tell my
no.
audience what happened when you went to Cuba.
No. So the only reason I was able to enter Cuba last year to be able to bury my mother, well, I spent the last 2 weeks of her life with her, which was a privilege to me. And then I was able to bury her, right? So the only reason I was able to go back to Cuba is because I did not apply for the prorroga. I did not apply for that permit. Imagine me as a Cuban resident, as a Cuban, not resident, as a Cuban national, as a Cuban born and raised. Not just me, all of us Cubans, we have to ask for a permit to enter our own country, right?
Mm.
So I did not ask for that proroga because I knew if I die, if I go to the Cuban embassy because of my activism, they will deny me. So I did not ask.
Mm.
I just booked my flight and I say I will get there. And I would not lie. You guys,
Hold on,
if you guys know me,
Time out. I'm getting a countdown here, so I guess they're gonna make me log off, and then I have to jump back in. So give me a second as I try to go. Yeah, so give me a
okay,
second. All
okay.
right, bear with me. All right, we'll
Yes.
be right back, y'all.